So just to give everyone a preface, what happened is yesterday James and I did this video, and we realized that James's audio wasn't recording, um, but the video was so good that we ended up scheduling another call for today and trying it again and making sure that his audio is recording this time. So this is our second try at doing this video, and just kind of going through the same things that we did in the last one, because I thought it was really cool. Cool. Rounds. Is this round 3 or round number 2?
Yeah. Anything you wanna kind of from yesterday? Some tips or things that were useful for you?
Yeah, just pretty much go over the same process. So right now I'm recording, and I guess we'll just do the same thing that we did yesterday, because yesterday the interview was really good. So I just want to basically go over the same points so that everyone else can go over that. So yeah, we'll just start off. Your name is James Shannon.
Hi.
And basically, just to kind of give everyone like a very brief summary. So you say you've been doing 3D for around 2 years, like you've been practicing it, and around 3-4 months ago now, you joined our program. And since then, you've been able to learn how to do jewelry renders. And in my opinion, like technically wise, like your jewelry renders look real. There's nothing wrong with them. They look great. Obviously, they can always expand in terms of like creating bigger commercials and stuff like that. But in terms of like the actual jewelry rendering, it's pretty good. So when you sent me an email saying like, hey, you want to give like some sort of a review for other people to see, I thought like just interviewing you directly would be great.
And
so you can just start by telling everyone where you're from.
Yeah, sure. So I'm from, I'm British, but I live in Berlin, Germany, just outside. I'm a photographer. I have been for about 12 years, and I've just mainly been focusing on jewelry. And within those 12 years, seen the industry change so much. Everyone's moving to social media. Everyone wants sort of moving imagery. I was sort of a bit more serious this year about animation, 3D animation. But I've always dabbled in 3D because in London I studied as a stage designer for theatre. So I used to make models in 3D, and the companies I used to work for, sometimes I'd make like jewelry stands for fairs, and I would sort of do something in SketchUp. So I've always had like a background experience in 3D, but I've never become so serious about 3D until maybe January, I would say. Yeah. So.
Okay, cool. Didn't want to cut you off, but it is slightly loud, so I'm just going to tune it down just a little bit. You said you started doing it properly in like around January. And how long ago did you find out about like me and my videos and stuff like that?
Well, I say January because I had, I'll sort of explain a bit why I sort of became a bit more serious. Our company wanted a video. It was going to be projected in a big fair, I think about I don't know how many meter screen. And I had to do this jewelry recorded on black sand. And because I've already had experience in shooting videos of jewelry, so I would try and put the jewelry on the black sand. And the problem is when you put jewelry on black sand, the whole jewelry sort of swallows up the black, and it's very hard to kind of to video, and it's really hard to do any post-processing. So then I really looked more into sort of Cinema 4D, building the jewelry from scratch and making animations. And then I sort of changed my setup from Mac, and I moved over to PC so I could render out files. And that's when I really sort of started to get committed more into 3D. So since January, I've been really looking for courses, and whenever I was building any 3D products or anything, I'd always, Google on YouTube, and then I'd find your videos, which were just brilliant. They're so sort of to the point. If I needed something to know about model making, I might skip to that section. or there might be something about lighting or even like render settings, but you just seem to sort of cover everything. And it was like more to do with products. So I knew about you, you're always there. So if I could find you, and I guess I signed up to your mailing list, and I had one of your emails. So I think that's how I discovered your course. Yeah.
Okay. And what was what made you end up signing up after knowing about me and stuff for so long?
Yeah, well, I'd say it's kind of more like life circumstances, because we decided to leave one of our main clients because we were just sort of mass producing work the whole time, and it was just getting too much, and we just decided to stop that client and start focusing more on our work. So at the time, in October, I think I signed up, we had a lot of free time, and this is the time I really wanted to develop myself. And I work with my wife, who's an art director, and so we're going to build our website. We're going to build an Instagram page, and she was like, okay, why don't you put the 3D work on? And I was like, I'm not so confident or happy about it. So, but she's like, yeah, but it'll be great if you could animate it as well. And I was like, oh man, this is another level. But I mean, I could already get by. I was lighting products, and I knew a bit about animation, but I would be doing things, completely wrong. I'd picked up bad habits. So then it coincided with your email, and I thought, okay, this sounds good. And then I watched your introduction video, and it sort of went from there, really. So,
okay. Yeah. And just to kind of clarify, the reason why you're kind of doing 3D for your jewelry is that you just weren't really happy with the kind of results you were getting with photography.
Yeah, so when you're shooting in jewelry, you're shooting with the macro lenses, and so you've got huge problems. First is everything is on a microscopic level. So a sight of shake, it could be someone walking in the room, it could be my dog coming in or whatever, or you've got depth of field. So with a macro, with the depth of field, you have to have it quite high to have everything in focus. And that means when you have it higher, you've got to have brighter lights. And then you've got to have a good sensor, because if it goes higher, then you get some really weird, the edges go horribly sharp. And so there's all these problems, and which you don't get, when you're doing 3D rendering. You can just put whatever aperture you want, and so there's all these advantages. Or you can even make layers, so you can separate things, and so the possibilities are just endless with 3D. And obviously, I was looking around. I'm seeing this other amazing work, and I also wanted to stay relevant, that I'm sort of pushing myself, and so.
Okay. And after you ended up joining the program, which areas do you think that you weren't so great at, and which areas did you have to start working on?
Well, yeah, I would say, I could get by in pretty much every area. Like lighting, I took a bit from my photography. Model making, I took a bit from, using 3D programs in the past. I did some Octane courses, for example. So I was there, I could get by, But, I think what's interesting with the course, it's not just like solely on animation. It's on everything. So it's all the processes leading up to animation. Sorry. It's just about getting everything in balance, So what was great about the course is that you have sort of, structures. So the first week would just be solely model making. So you just concentrate on the model making, which is brilliant, because then I'd watch your videos and I'd be like, oh, okay, wow, okay. Then I'd try it, and then you'd have the challenge, So you'd have 7 days that you'd have to, produce models, and then you move on to the next section when you're confident to move on to the next section. So it was just really important for me just to go through everything, and also unlearn bad habits that I had,
Okay. That's also one other question I was going to ask. You've been part of like other courses and stuff to do with 3D.
Yeah.
And obviously you felt like you didn't really get everything you needed, otherwise you wouldn't have joined mine, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sort of doing countless of courses, like
Yeah.
before I really got serious, I was on my Mac and using Arnold, and I would just sort of find a YouTube video and I would just sort of make a little torus changing, with like a deformation or whatever, and I wasn't really sure what I was doing, so, but it would just be like following recipes, it wouldn't be like, so I wasn't really sure. And then I did a bigger course, which is like a generalist 3D course, which was okay, but I sort of got, there were certain points where I reached a part of the section where I'll be learning about hair dynamics or rigging, and I just felt like it wasn't, it wasn't applicable to me and what I needed. So I get very disillusioned with other courses. But I suppose with where I'm coming from and what I need, your courses were perfect because it was like on products and how to make products look really great, and also mixing with lighting and everything like that, which was. So that's why I was kind of attracted to your work. And I actually saw your Patreon page. So there was a kind of like another course advertised there. So I always knew there was something I could get from you, but then your email turned up, which would look like a sort of really interesting to me, caught my attention. So, yeah.
Okay. And how did you feel after joining the program? Were you like a little bit intimidated?
Yeah. Well, yeah, so another thing I wanted to say. So like joining the course, you watched the introduction video, and then I was just really surprised that schedule a meeting or a coaching meeting with Arthur. And that's like nothing like I'd had before. So normally you buy a course, you click the purchase button and you get the course downloaded, or you're on a sort of landing page where you go through everything. But what was really amazing, it wasn't like just get the course, buy the course, do it. It was like, right, I have a meeting with you, whether I think it was like an hour, just going through everything about me, So it was not about Arthur Whitehead anymore and what I wanted. It was about me, which was just a really interesting thing for me. So it was good in a way because it had a lot of pressure more on me to complete the course and to see it through because I had this personal contact and that was really something special, I thought, and intimidating as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's also a reason why we kind of have on like a schedule page, like you have to answer like why do you think this course is a good fit for you? What are your like, goals when going into 3D? Because I found in the past when you're doing like coaching and stuff, if someone just signs up and you just let them like buy on like a landing page and like anyone can sign up, guys might buy, like if it's like a $300 product, they might buy and be like, okay, now my problems are solved. And they get like all the dopamine, they've got a new course, and then some people don't even start the first video and then they don't get the results out of it,
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely sort of a person that has the drive to do something. Like I've always, with the photography, I've always set aside, a certain amount of my time for learning, because I know how beneficial that is to invest into yourself, So, and also my circumstances, I really wanted to achieve something. So I had the drive to do it. But I mean, what the other interesting thing was like, in the group, so that I did the modeling section and there was this challenge, right? So I put in the group, like I'm going to do these 7 models in this week, to the group, and that kind of announced myself, and that gave me determination to see it through. If not, then I've sort of like a catastrophe. But but yeah, it was a really good push for me to do and to have that kind of incentive, So yeah.
That's what's so great about like those accountability posts, because if you're that guy that says, hey, I'm gonna crush 3D in the next 4 weeks, and you put it out in front of everyone, and then you don't do anything, and you're quiet.
You're
feel like you need to do something.
You're kind of a bit sort of, you're letting yourself down, when you do something like that. So that was really good for me. So I mean, it's all internal in my head, but still, it really helps to kind of to push through,
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long were you kind of going through the program until you started like feeling more confident with the work that you could produce?
Well, the model making, I was, I mean, as I said, I get by in model making, but that was quite intimidating. The topology, sort of getting that down a bit better. I'm still nowhere near where I want to be with that. I'm still watching videos on learning topology and everything. The lighting, previously, what I did with my lighting when I was I mean, I used to do like still imagery of jewelry and stuff, or I'd mix it in with the real photography, so it'll be like multimedia, you know. So I have had experience with it, but say I would light something, you know, I just chuck in lights and just hope to look pretty, you know. I didn't have any sense of like art directing, so so when it came to the lighting section, I was really like, right, okay, I've got this product, say it's like a vodka bottle, you know, I want to make it look like this. So I really had to think how to light it, you know, the lens, you know, everything like that. So it was really just good just to say, right, this is modeling I'm focusing on. This is, you know, lighting. This is texturing in Octane, because sometimes it's the whole thing is so overwhelming because there's so many different aspects of 3D that it's really good just to break things down. And so if you're doing the modeling, you're not worrying about the lighting. You're just, and then also you're posting the work, you know, in the group. And people's not going to criticize you on the lighting because it's not about that. It's about the model making. Yeah. So yeah, that was great, you know, so just to go through that and also just to structure it in my head that I get this aspect of it down now. So yeah.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah. And how did you feel when you got more to like towards the animation and commercial production side of things?
Yeah, I mean, there was sort of revelations through the way. So I mean, it's great because it's all split up. You know, like I read somewhere that you shouldn't watch a video more for 20 minutes, like a learning video, because then it sort of, you should always have a break. It should be always like 5 minutes or something like that, and then go back to it because then your brain can process things more. So it's great. I think that is split up over a certain amount of weeks. Yeah, when I got to the animation, there was I did animation before, so like there would be things that, you know, you gave tips that before previously I spent like a whole afternoon trying to get down, you know, like trying to move a camera into a certain way, but there are certain tips that you gave like I didn't even know about, you know, and it's just like I had to pause the video sometimes to think, oh my god, you know, I didn't know that, and this is safe. It's so much time, you know. Yeah. You know, so it's kind of frustrating relief, and then coming on to new things, which are like, whoa, okay, this is how am I going to get to there? So I had to kind of sort of push myself to get to the next level, or, you know, and that was always intimidating. There's always a sense of doubt and failure, but it's important just to go through it. And the great thing was the community was there. You were there to kind of to give advice. So that's a great thing, because previously you would do a course and then you would end up with a result and then there'd be no kind of feedback, you know. And the problem I had before was when I did something, I had no I couldn't assess my work. So I'd make it and I think, that's great, you know, and then the next day I'd wake up and look at it again and think, yeah, there's something wrong, you know. But I wouldn't understand. I didn't have the tool set to think, how can I, or why is it wrong, you know? But now just going through everything, I can almost like self-critique more better in a way. So yeah.
Yeah, that's such an important thing, like just the feedback aspect of it, like knowing, like having someone tell you like, hey, these are the things that you're doing right, these are the things you're doing wrong. Maybe you need to start working on another area. Maybe you should stop working on this area. You've been doing modeling for like 5 weeks. And just like that's why like having like weekly Q&A calls that we do, having a private Facebook group, being able to contact someone like me is super important, because it's kind of like that's a big issue with like watching free videos online, or even just like having an online course where you can't ask questions. It's like you just kind of copying what they're doing on screen, but like you don't know what to change for your own situation and like where your blind spots are and all sorts of stuff like that, unless you're like very good at kind of critiquing your own work. But to do that, you kind of need to be like in your position where you've kind of gone through a lot of the different areas, like the modeling and the lighting, and knowing how it all puts together, and then you can kind of self-critique. But you kind of need to be at that stage to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I feel like now I've got the confidence to kind of. I'm still not 100% happy with my work, but I know what's wrong, and I know what I have to improve. So when I'm doing the next thing, I feel like, right, I want to do this or do that. I want to get that better, and so I'm never 100% satisfied with my work. But now I've got the tool set, and I feel like I'm on the right path to kind of to do that. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking with your most recent post on the Facebook group. Like technically everything's great with the rings. Like nothing is technically wrong with the 3D, or the lighting's set up well. Like the rest is really up to you. It's like, do you want to do longer commercials? Do you want to add in like more extra things like particles and simulations and more like added in stuff like that?
Yeah.
But otherwise, like I think you've reached your goal. Like you really wanted to be able to do like jewelry videos, and now you can,
Yeah. I mean, I still want to sort of do other videos outside, so I feel like the learning hasn't stopped. I mean, I would also like to kind of go through the course again. I know that sounds pretty mental, but like, because I know I'd sort of pick things up which I didn't the first time, maybe because I know my levels changed a bit. So I could have put more sort of advanced techniques in there as well, like layering or, so all sorts of things, maybe more sort of post-processing stuff as well, which is also really interesting in the courses, all the post-processing things and sort of After Effects and everything as well, which really adds to a lot. Yeah.
Okay. And just a few more questions, kind of like, would you recommend the program now that you've gone through it for like a few months? Would you recommend it to anyone?
Yeah, I would, but I would say, for me, I was just it was the right place at the right time. I think my circumstances, because of my work situation, and I feel like I need to kind of develop myself to be to stay relevant in the industry I'm in. So that for me was an important goal. And I had the motivation to get through it. I mean, I would totally recommend it if you want a sort of, it's almost like feedback and incentives to see things through. And also just in the end, it's not like the course is not like, right, build this model like this way, animate it this way. It's like, it's the tools to do an animation. So you build your own model, you light it in your own way, and you animate it in your own way too, from research and from, learning how to storyboard and so I would say it's definitely, well, for me, it's definitely worth it, but I suppose it depends on the person a lot too. So
yeah, on your second point there, I think that's also like really important. That's why kind of one way I was going to structure the whole course is like, this is how you make this specific kind of video. But I realized like it's kind of like a lot of YouTube videos, even a lot of mine, just because that's the easiest way to make tutorials. It's like, this is how you do a specific thing, and I'll just take you through all the buttons through it. But like, it's much more important, like you'll get better results and like you'll learn faster if you just know the foundations of how everything works, and then you can kind of create your own videos, whether you're doing jewelry or like technology kind of products or whatever it might be.
I mean, I have done like this big paid course I did before. It was a model making section, and the guy was it was like an hour long tutorial, and the guy was just speaking so quick. And I mean, I was just starting Cinema 4D, and right, click this. This is Volume Builder. Type this thing in. And I didn't even know like what Volume Builder was, and but in the end, I had this result, and I was like, what is this Volume Builder thing? And then I just looked on Maxon website and just watched a 10-minute video about it, and they just explained what it was. And then I was like, okay, but this previous guy didn't explain anything about it. It was just like, this is how to get snow, use this to get it, and he didn't say, it's about like voxels or sizes, which is, I don't know, that's just an example, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And back to your first point, I think it's also kind of important. It's like, these programs aren't really for everyone, it's for At first, like the program was only really worked with people like you, Cheryl, like a couple other guys I do coaching with who are like very self-motivated.
Yeah.
People that just need to know how to do it, why to do it, and then you can kind of take all the information and kind of go along.
Yeah.
And then we realized not everyone like has a strong drive to just do 3D. Some people struggle with a lot more, and like everyone's on different levels.
Yeah.
And that's why
Yeah.
we had to kind of develop it more and more so that we have some sort of support, like a Facebook group, Q&A calls, things like that. So like people that struggle a lot more can always get like added support, so that they can go through the program a lot better, you know?
Yeah, I sort of feel for people because I know with 3D, like I'm sort of full of self-doubt and I get miserable when things don't go my way, but you just have to kind of push through that, you know, and it's just a process of learning. And these kind of failures which you have, you know, in a way you have to treat it as like a positive thing, because, you know, if you feel like you failed something, then you know you can make it better and you understand it's failed, so you kind of you've got something to build off on, you know. So you should never sort of stop, and you should never sort of be intimidated by, I mean, I am all the time. If I look on sort of certain groups or there's something pops up in Instagram, I think, wow, that's amazing, you know. But you know, it's always good just to keep on, just to focus on yourself and just to push through your own barriers, you know, to get there, you know. So yeah. I don't know. That's my the way I feel about it. So,
okay. So like, how are you feeling now at your level of 3D? Like, what are your plans now? Because obviously, like, it's your jewelry work isn't like Hollywood. It's not like a huge production made them. But like, you can make pretty good 3D videos. Like,
So now I'm sort of just going to knock out these videos now just to keep our sort of Instagram page alive. But on the side, I'm going to sort of still learn, maybe like I've got X particles. So maybe I want to sort of incorporate more stuff like that, or like some more MoGraph, make things a bit more interesting. And it's also, I don't really know where I am as well. It's sort of, I got... with the business we got the photography side, we got the rendering side now, and everything's all at a sort of level. So we don't know what's going to take off more. So, but we feel like we got the kind of, you know, we got the balance of everything now, which is really important for us. So, I mean, part of the reason why I sort of went into 3D rather than photography is because I've really lost interest in photography. I know it, like I can just, if I need to shoot something, I can, it's no problem. But where I have this kind of drive and passion for it's now for the 3D. So I want to sort of push that more through 2021 and just see where it takes me, you know. So, and with more learning and we'll see how it goes. I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but I feel like I'm on the right road. So.
Yeah, that's cool. With 3D, it's just like there's so much possibilities with what you can create in it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's I know also that it's really like people are crying out for it as well, you know, like people want this on their Instagram and stuff like that, companies. So, and I mean, there are some people who are still not aware of that this stuff is 3D, you know, people think it's video. And I've actually shown people before, like, oh look, I built your jewelry here, and they're like, what, you scanned it in 3D? I was like, no, I built it. And how did you do the textures? Well, you select this texture, you put this kind of bump on it or whatever, you know, and you know, they can't believe it, you know. So there's still a lot of people out there that don't simply know about it. It's a bit like, you know, like how Photoshop was in the 90s. People didn't realize like you could sort of swap heads around and stuff like that, you know. So it's like, you know, so yeah. So we'll see how it goes, but I definitely think it's the way things are moving, and it's really important just to stay relevant. That this is the way things are. Things are the way they are now. So
yeah, cool, man. So with your Instagram, you've helped me a lot by giving this interview. So I'm going to link your pages and stuff in the description for just anyone that actually wants to see kind of where your 3D is at and kind of how it's like progressed and stuff like that. And it's the same thing I was saying yesterday. Like for you, would be great as if you did the commercial creation challenge. because that, even I look at that, I'm like, wow, that would take a while to kind of make, because it's like there's guidelines, like it has to be a minute long, it has to have these certain components, and like
Yeah.
there's certain things in there that will like kind of really push you. But obviously, it depends on what your goals are. If like you're
Oh
doing
no,
3D for your business, so
yeah, no, I was sort of definitely sort of when, I definitely want to not just do jewelry. So like, I went with the jewelry because I'm comfortable with that, and that's kind of the first thing I wanted to get down. But I do want to sort of do other products and other renderings. So I've never been that excited about electronic products. So rather sort of maybe like more home furniture or something like that. So yeah, I will. I will. I think this year is definitely. I want to expand.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to
Okay.
have
Yeah.
everyone kind of see your journey, like what it was like before you joined our program, going through it,
Well,
where you
yeah,
are
it was
now.
definitely like before I didn't have work to show, and I did have work to show, but I wasn't confident to show it, and I do now. So it's that's the difference, and that was October I joined. So and now I feel like over Christmas I would model. I made some models over Christmas, just slowly relaxed, bit of music on, whatever, just sort of made some models, and now I'm sort of like making small animations of them, so I can just knock one out a week or something, and then it's sort of keeping my Instagram page alive, and so
Yeah,
it's
that's
great.
also like something I love to see. Like you're like super filled with energy and excited, because like
Yeah.
it's
I mean, it's
exciting for
pretty
me
grim
because
what
it's
everything
like
else going on, but yeah.
no, it's cool because I've chatted to so many people on like calls, and like people have been in this for like 5 years and they're like not really progressing, and that's a long time. But people can progress.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even have to go through my program. Like you can progress like within 3 months, 6 months,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
can
yeah.
make a lot of
Well,
strides.
I would say, I mean, it's really like what I say. I made a lot of bad habits, so like, I had to unlearn some things which I did wrong, and a lot of things are almost simpler in a sense now that you with your guidance, so. So that's made me more relaxed in a way. It's not so like, oh, I'm going to go down. I have to power through this model somehow. Oh God, how do I do this? Like, okay, I'm gonna look on YouTube. Oh, where's that video? Oh, okay, I could sort of take that and stick it on like this Frankenstein model. So it's kind of So things are easier in a sense. So yeah.
That's great. Cool, man. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me and share your kind of experience with everyone. Again, I'll be linking your
Yeah,
work
thank
and
you too.
stuff in the
And I
description.
feel like because you gave so much sort of feedback, and when I posted something in the group, you really sort of you made little videos about the work and what I could change, and so I was really I felt like it's really a great thing that you're doing. So yeah,
Cool. Great.
yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks, James.
nice one.